All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, South Carolina. And the happiest of Fridays to you. We have made it through yet another week. It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. I am Rob Brown, back in the network studio. The great one. Hashtag Dad Kicks, Colonel Grudge, the conductor of the symphony of sound that is the Rob Brown Show, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate, the content cash cow himself, Lonzo, at the helm. Happy Friday, amigo. Hey, amigo.
I am just stream, by the way. You should check it out. Check out the stream. It looks like I'm looking longingly in the distance, and actually I'm just looking at my computer screen. But it's awesome.
If there are words to describe Lonzo, they are not just humble, but he is a limitless sea of emotion, ladies and gentlemen.
Do they paint you as you're posing?
I believe that there's got to be somebody somewhere, right? Are you considering having a masterpiece done of yourself sitting in the air? Is that your goal?
Often as I just stare at those screens, and at first I was watching the stream. By the way,
you should watch the stream.
It looked like my screen was froze, but no, I was just looking.
No, just staring longingly into the distance with positive thoughts of the Rob Brown Show flittering in his head. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm here again today, and this is awesome, and I can't wait for the next 3 hours.
Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. Just the bottomless well of joy and optimism, ladies and gentlemen. Busy day on the broadcast today. A lot of stuff we're going to get into. Timothy Richard Tebow, as we mentioned at the end of yesterday's show, officially a Jaguar. But how does Vegas feel about his chances of success? We will tell you later on what Vegas thinks he will and won't do. And Tebow fans won't be a fan of Vegas after this. Deshaun Watson has gone public for the first time since the lawsuits began to drop. What does that look like? What did Deshaun do in the social media sphere to get his face out there for the first time? We'll tell you that coming up in a few minutes. From right now, our PGA Championship Leaderboard from Kiowa, the Ocean Course. It is interesting watching these guys battle wins. They have had wins. They have had wins going on upwards of 20 miles per hour in their face coming back down the back nine. Yeah, I know. I forgot to turn it off again. Winds in excess of 20 miles an hour that these guys are battling into. And it has made it very interesting. Some intriguing names at the top of the leaderboard right now. We'll take a spin through that coming up in a little while as well. Your NBA postseason awards finalists have been listed. So we are going to we're gonna run through those. No big surprises. I called the shots on most of them a few weeks ago, so we'll take a look at your NBA postseason awards finalists coming up in a minute. All that and more throughout the duration of the show. So let's get it kicked off, right? It is the lunch breakdown. The 3 things you have to know before we go start talking sports with our friends, family, coworkers, or the dog. When you sit down at lunch today, this will be the scuttlebutt. This will be the things that you need to know about. We start with item number 1 on the lunch breakdown. I am in love with the love triangle that is going on between Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. It is interesting. It is complex. It is deep. It is better than most of the dramas that are on television right this second. And now, Zoe, finally, this time it's for real. This time it's for real. We have a super fight scheduled. No. 2 days ago, we had another super fight that was scheduled that I was sure was going to happen when Fury and Joshua were expected to get it on in Saudi Arabia in August. But then Deontay Wilder came forward and said, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. He still owes me a fight, this Tyson Fury. So a judge says, oh, yeah, that's right. You did have a contract with the guy. So you got to fight. So Tyson Fury said, well, hey, come on, man. Like, I just want to get in the ring. Let's make it happen. So Deontay Wilder said, hey, bro, I know that you've got this fight that you want to get done. So it's cool. I'll let you out of the third fight in our contract, Lonzo. All you got to do to get out of our third fight and go fight Anthony Joshua, all you got to do is send me a check for $20 million. That's all. NBD, baby. Hit me up for 20 mil. I'll back down. You can go fight Anthony Joshua. Well, Tyson Fury said thanks, but no thanks. I'll go ahead and try to KO you on the way to the Joshua fight. So now the third heavyweight title fight between WBC champ Tyson Fury and ex-champ Deontay Wilder is set. Lonzo gets his wish. This one will be in Las Vegas, July 24th. This was confirmed to Yahoo Sports earlier. ESPN's Ben Baby originally reported the agreement. Contracts have not been signed, but they have been agreed upon. Back in December of 2018, Wilder and Fury fought to a split draw. The second fight, Fury won by 7th round TKO, but Wilder said that he was not in his best shape and vowed to come back stronger. There was delay after delay after delay after delay after delay. And finally, it is going to happen. And it looks like Anthony Joshua will likely schedule another fight to stay tuned up. And we will likely get the winners of those two fights in the superiest super fight coming up shortly after that. Yeah, maybe a little inspiration for old TF there, for the Gypsy King. Maybe a little inspiration for Tyson Fury. I'll show you what I think's worth $20 million, son. 20 mil. But, I mean, hey, Deontay Wilder had a point, right? And let's be honest, after that L to Tyson Fury, if he takes another L at the hands of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder is done as a big pay-per-view draw. He can still fight undercards. He can still show up. And maybe down the road he can fight. But Deontay Wilder's not getting any younger. So it makes sense that he would want that amount of money in order to not fight, because the reality is he ain't got but a few fights left in him at this point, and he's got only one shot left at winning a championship. And if he does not get a chance to fight Fury, there is no guarantee that regardless if Fury or Joshua won the next fight, that either one of them would have any interest in scheduling Deontay Wilder down the road. It makes sense that he approached it that way, but you do have to wonder if the Gypsy King gets in the ring with Deontay Wilder and takes $20 million worth of ass whooping out of him. Oh, yeah, it'd be a great look. Yep, he ain't wrong. July is the date for that fight. Looking forward to it. Going to be in Vegas, and that is boxing's next super fight. Item numero dos on the lunch breakdown, the International Olympic Committee, as we are now, what's today? Today's the 21st. We're what, two months and 3 days away from the beginning of the Olympic Games. The IOC said that the games will open regardless of the state of emergency going on in Japan. John Coates, the VP of the IOC, spoke from Australia in a virtual news conference with Tokyo organizers at the end of 3 days of meetings and said that the opening ceremonies would take place even if local medical experts advised against holding them. He said, quote, "The advice we have from the World Health Organization and all other scientific and medical advice that we have is that all the measures we have outlined, all of those measures that we are undertaking are satisfactory and will ensure a safe and secure games in terms of health." And that's the case whether there is a state of emergency or not. Public opinion in Japan, as we have told you over the past week or so, has been floating between 60 and 80% against the opening ceremonies on July 23rd, depending on how the question is phrased. Coates suggested that he believes with another 2 months of vaccinations behind them, the Japanese people will come around to get on board with the Olympics. But vaccines have been available in Japan. Well, scratch that. Not available to the public, but available to be distributed in Japan for a few months now. And the vaccinated figure is hovering at around 2% right now. Coates said, quote, "If it doesn't, that will be the public opinion. If it doesn't, then our position is that we have to make sure that we get on with our job. And our job is to ensure these games are safe for all the participants and the people of Japan." IOC officials said that they expect well over 80% of the residents of the Olympic Village located in Tokyo Bay will be vaccinated fully and expect them to be largely cut off from contact from the public. There will be about 1,100 Olympic and 4,400 Paralympic athletes expected to attend in just a little over 2 months. We know Tokyo, Osaka, and several other states around Japan are currently under states of emergency. Haruo Ozaki, head of the Tokyo Medical Association, said, quote, "If the current situation continues, I hope the government will have the wisdom not to end the emergency at the end of May." Ozaki has consistently said government measures to control the spread of COVID-19 have been wildly inefficient so far. About 12,000 deaths in Japan have been attributed to the virus, and the situation is exacerbated because so few people in Japan have been fully vaccinated, mainly because of that red tape. So the Olympic Committee is putting their head down. The Olympic Committee is saying this is a go, no questions asked. Let's make it happen. We are going to find out. We are going to find out. By the way, for those of you that are telling me we're having audio streaming issues hearing Zoe, I'm going to get that fixed during the next break. So give me just a second. Once we get to break, I'll get that fixed so you guys will be able to hear him too. All right, you can say anything you want about the stream and they won't know, Zoe. All right, item number 3 on the lunch breakdown. So we have talked about the premise of whether or not professional sports teams will make personnel decisions based on personnel being willing to get the vaccine. Will they move players around based on their willingness to get the double shot? Well, I am going to tell you, I think it's becoming more likely, and I think we have the first situation why, and this is it. Chicago Cubs president Jed Hoyer spoke out yesterday in the media and said that he is very disappointed right now because Cubs players have basically stopped taking the vaccine now. The ones who haven't have gotten it, the ones who won't get it haven't gotten it, and they did not reach the 85% threshold that Major League Baseball put in place to get rid of a vast majority of the protocols that have been in place for a while. 85% is the number that teams must reach in order to get to the point where they can stop wearing masks inside the clubhouse, They can start working out together in larger groups. They can start dining together, both at the facility and when they are on the road. Currently, a lot of the creature comforts of a baseball team traveling the country playing ball right now are denied to teams that have not reached an 85% vaccination rate. A little under half the teams in the league are still in that boat, though there are some teams that have seen that number continue to grow lately. The Cubs have not. Hoyer said, quote, "It's disappointing to not be at 85% as a team. We've worked hard to try to convince or educate people that have been reluctant. We're at a place right now. I'm not going to give up hope we're going to get there, but my level of optimism is waning. It is disappointing. There are conveniences that come with getting to 85% as a group, mask wearing, dining, things like that we would all like to have. There's a competitive advantage that we're going to miss. Being transparent about it, we're not a player away from being at 85%. It's a disappointing thing that will have anxieties and restrictions that others don't." And this is where I think, Lonzo, you will start to see teams make personnel decisions, right? Let them decide, but if the team still has to go through COVID restrictions and protocols, have to wear masks, cannot work out together as groups, can only have so many people in the clubhouse at a certain time, can't sit down when they're on the road and have dinner together, can't interact with each other on the road outside of being in the clubhouse. If you take away all of those things, but other teams are allowed to do those things, right? The Braves I'm using them as an example. I don't know if they are or aren't, but the Braves get to 85%. They can work out together. They don't have to wear masks. They can all be in the clubhouse. They can all go to dinner together and have group functions at the hotel when they're on the road. I would consider that, Zoe. I would consider that a competitive advantage for those teams. The Cubs are being denied it. You got to wonder if there's a team, like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, if there's a team that's a player short of hitting 85% and being allowed to regain all of those competitive advantages, might they send that cat back down to AAA ball so that they can work out together, for instance, to improve their competitive advantage? Agree with that part. So, to me, there is a sense of camaraderie that can bring a team together and make them stronger, right? Isn't that the big selling point for Clemson? We're family. We're family. We're so close. We're family, right? That's the big selling point that everybody jumps on. And clearly, it's legit. If you only see, Zoe, you and I interact off the air, right? We interact off the air. We text back and forth. We chat before and after the show. We're in contact with each other. And I feel like that makes us better as a team, right? If you and I only talked between the hours of noon to 3 p.m. and that was it, we would not be as effective as a team working on the show as I think that we are, personally. Sure. I'm gonna respectfully disagree. So most of the sports that you did, and I'm positing this as a thought, Zoe, not stating it as fact. So correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the sports that you have talked about participating in are individual sports, right? Like there's a wrestling team, but let's be honest, wrestling's an individual sport, right? And you don't feel like as an offensive lineman, you don't feel that spending time and interacting with your, let's say, the rest of your offensive line unit, you don't feel like spending time and interacting with the rest of your offensive line unit away from the football field, whether you're talking football or just hanging out and having a good time, you don't feel like it brought you together as a team and made you better as a more cohesive unit? Listen to Zoe just out in his squad like that. He's putting the squad on blast. Okay, fair enough. I think that, and we can ask this on the chat line, and you guys are willing to chime in. I think that having time together as a unit away from the sport that brings you closer together as human beings make you a better team. All right. My junior year in high school, our basketball team went to the state finals. We were runners up in 2002, and every single game day before a game, my family had the entire basketball team come to our house. Every single guy on that team came over. My mom would cook a huge meal for us all. We'd all hang out and play video games or play spades or take the boat out on the lake or whatever we were going to do. And yeah, well, we were in high school, so no NCAA. Don't touch me, NCAA. And I truly, honestly believe that it made us a better basketball team. We got to the point, we grew to the point that we could. It was cliche, but communicate to each other without words, without talking. And I think it made us a better basketball team. And I think if you are a team that loses the ability to do that, you are worse off for it. We'll come back and circle back around to this later on in the show because we're way off the clock. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776 is the number. I am Rob, the haughty, arrogant, elitist, academic intellectual, according to Lonzo. He is the I'm better than everybody else in the offensive line in the world producer and co-host. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. You're you. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate. Can you guys in the stream hear Lonzo now? Is he back? He should be back now. Are you guys able to hear him? Well, not now because he's doing his live read, but were you able to hear him at the end of that last segment? No? You guys didn't hear him at all? Huh. That is not ideal. Yeah, no, I get it, Keegan. I understand. I mean, honestly, I don't know why it's not the Lonzo show with Rob Brown. Other than the banners were already made. Do you know what I mean? Dang it, I forgot to get my flag. Y'all, the Rob Brown Show flag finally made its way here. And I forgot to go down there and pick it up. Son of a gun. Zoe, do me a favor. Say something so I can see if your mic is registering on my end, because I think we're having audio issues. You made it about you. All right, can you guys hear Alonzo now? I may have to turn. Give me one more, Zoe. Now you should be able. Okay, now you should be able. Yes, because we went off topic yesterday and I broke the internet. Can you guys hear him now? No, gosh darn it. Why? No, we weren't. Yeah, the commerce wasn't even on. I mean, obviously I messed with the settings on my mixing board, but I put them all back, so I thought. All right, so I've got you coming out here, and that goes into here. All right, you're there. You're good here. All right, so you're pinging the board. Yeah, on my nope. Nope. New one. All right, try now. How about now? No, I'm not talking right this second. Oh, I got. Check.
So could you just look at the comics, or could be just maybe reset or something? Is that possible? I don't know.
I got it. I think. Can you guys hear me?
I got it. No.
How about now? Can you guys hear?
They told me they fixed it.
You should be able to hear us both now, correct, Keegan?
Can you hear each of us?
Sounds robotic, but he's. That means.
Oh, cool.
How about now?
My name is Lonzo. We are here to take over the world. Now we are back.
Upstate Sports Junkies.
These pathetic junkies? Come on, look at them.
You eat sports like food every day. Get hooked on the Rob Brown Show, noon to 3 every weekday on ESPN Upstate.
We had to fix the audio issues on the live. I think we got it, but I think that we have figured it out.
So for those of you who are stream only and you didn't get to hear the things that I said, go to the Odyssey app like after 1 o'clock, and you'll be able to download the podcast from the first hour. You'll be able to hear everything that was said. So check that out.
Check out that new background, by the way. Check out the new background.
Not bad. Not bad.
Coming through in the clutch.
Just got to bring the bottom down just a little.
Yeah, I know. And
Or just ditch the V. I mean,
I was gonna say, all right, so I just need to edit it a little bit, but it looks fantastic.
It looks fancy.
All right, 844-477-3772. You got to join us on the live stream to see what we're talking about. Go to facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo, one word, at ESPN Upstate. And the Ingles Market text line is officially open at 71307. Start your text with ESPN so we can read them on the air at 71307. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the influencers. You know what an influencer is, right, Lonzo? You've heard about influencers?
Mark Ryan.
Yes, let's pretend like Mark Ryan's an influencer, mainly because this story is going to make influencers look bad. Let's talk about influencers. All right, influencers are people who get clout on social media. They go get clout on social media. They get mass followings. And then basically people give them money to talk about how great the whatever it is in question is. Give them money to talk about how fantastic everything is on their social media to their millions of followers. And one of the things that influencers have become known for, Zoe, is acting reckless or flat out stupid in the quest for a great picture, right? Reckless and or stupid in the quest for a good picture. There have been people around the world that have fallen off of cliffs because they're trying to get the perfect selfie to put out on the social media. There are people that have been attacked by animals because they're trying to get the perfect selfie with the tiger or the lion. And so I hate to say it because this makes me a bad person. Not that I like people getting hurt, but maybe lesser consequences. But when influencers do dumb things to get pictures and something bad happens to them, my response is usually, yeah, that makes sense. That a tiger ate you when you took a selfie with a tiger, right? Well, influencers are now in the world of sports. Indianapolis 500 practice taking place. Colton Herta crashed into both Scott McLaughlin and the wall at more than 200 miles an hour at a practice. And why did this happen, Lonzo? Because Raheel Letterman Lanigan, which is a motor company, it's a driving company in the Indy world, had its three drivers as they came around the front stretch in yesterday's practice, fan out and drive three wide down the front stretch, Lonzo, so that they could get a picture for their social media. All right? They had three drivers on a track where cars were motoring around at over 220 miles per hour, slow their vehicles down to under 170 miles per hour so that they could get a picture of all three cars coming down the front stretch for their social media page. McLaughlin and Simona Di Silvestro saw the three Raheel cars as they sped through the corner. Both immediately slowed down as well. Herta, however, could not see the Raheel cars, and it was too late when he noticed McLaughlin and Di Silvestro, and he slowed down. He barreled through the turn at 220 miles an hour and ran directly over the back of the car. Herta darted high around and bounced off the wall back into McLaughlin. Both Herta and McLaughlin then had to pit for repairs. The Rahal team will now be fined a good amount of money and parked for the first 30 minutes of today's practice, which is a critical one when the engine power is boosted and teams get their first true look at their speeds ahead of qualifying. Zoe, they wrecked out two Indy cars so that they could get a good Twitter picture. Hashtag do it for the gram, y'all.
All right. First of all, it's so they're all okay, right?
Everybody's okay.
Everybody's okay.
So yes, you're allowed to laugh at it.
Well, the other question is how good is the picture? Did they get the picture?
I don't know, but I know how much an Indy car cost, Lonzo. And I promise you, it may be the greatest picture ever taken by man of a race car. It is not worth the price of an Indy car.
See, you're missing my point. If you're going to do something really stupid, you hope you at least accomplished what you were doing before all that. That's
Tiger ripped my arm off, but you should see the picture I got of the tiger before it ripped my arm
absolutely off. Look at how that blood splatters right there. That's just, I mean, who else could capture a picture so close up like that?
Rachel fell off the cliff, but you should see the selfie Rachel got that we found on her iPhone that didn't break on the rocks below the cliff she fell off of. Poor Rachel.
Well, those phones are pretty durable nowadays. So
mine's done well. I dropped mine on concrete yesterday. It worked just fine. So
that's cool. But in the end, if you're going to do something really, really stupid and try to take the picture, I hope at least you got the picture.
Let's see.
Would you drive that fast on a racetrack if you were given the opportunity?
Are you saying you wouldn't?
220? Probably not.
Given the opportunity to try, like I'd have to warm up to it. Like I'm not just going to go floor it right off the gate. But if I could get like a full day of lessons of how to drive an Indy car and then go spin laps at Indy, you're damn right I'm doing.
The fastest I've been was in my very first car, which was a Camaro. And I think the speedometer went up to 140 and I buried the needle and got within a foot or so of a wall and decided that I would never go that fast ever again. And the reason why I got that close to a wall, because I was looking at my friend who I was dusting and smiling. And then I looked back and there was the wall. And so, no, 220, that's just... when things start getting blurry, you're going too fast. So I don't know.
Oh, I would in a heartbeat. I would do it.
See, I don't like roller coasters either. So I mean,
I love them. Bucket list for me, Zoe. Bucket list is to get down to Daytona and do the Richard Petty experience, right? And they have options like it's like $180 and you get to ride in a stock car around Daytona. Like $400 and you get to drive 2 laps around Daytona. And then for like $1,000, you get to drive like 12 laps around Daytona with a pace car, but with the speed up in a traditional NASCAR stock car. That is that's it for me. That's the thing. That's the sports thing I want to do. Getting a roll in an Indy car at 220 would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. Get back on the clock. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. Tim Tebow's success. Does Vegas believe? Or are they, as Lonzo labeled me yesterday, all doubters? We'll address that next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate. From the Ingalls Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Owning your own land is something you've always dreamed about, and now it comes true. Huff Creek Properties is the land division of NAI Earl Furman. Tripp, Dallas, and Ellis are your land experts in the upstate. If you're looking to buy or sell land, contact them at 610-LAND. Want to build your dream home? Fish in your own private pond? Enjoy a honey retreat on the weekends? Or you just want some room to roam? Huff Creek Properties has multiple mini farms available now in Greenville, Spartanburg, and Anderson counties. Call Huff Creek Properties today, 610-LAND, or visit huffcreekproperties.com.
These days, nearly every small business owner is looking for ways to cut costs, and that's where Spectrum Business comes in. They have the best business internet and phone available.
Yeah, there's been times I've wished, man, if I could just move that up just a little bit.
You can cut costs for your business and get faster internet. Just what small businesses need right now.
Maybe we should send a message to StreamYard and ask if maybe there is a way to do it and we just haven't figured it out.
Spectrum Business, 833-919-2129.
This fall, Furman is bringing back everything fans love about football Saturdays at Paladin Stadium, plus brand new fan experiences. That's why you need to purchase or renew your season tickets now. Plus, anyone who purchases or renews season tickets
Thank you, sir. Ooh, that's a tough call, Zoe.
It's being passed around by all the nerd sites right now.
You get to pick one. Which one do you see? You get to pick one. Which one are you going to see? Lost Boys, RoboCop, Predator, or Full Metal Jacket? Ooh, Zoe. Man, that's a good 4. Lost Boy. I mean, they're all 4 great movies. RoboCop's out. I love RoboCop, but I've seen it a million times. I'd buy that for $1. Predator or Full Metal Jacket, Zoe, are the 2 that I'm going with. Full Metal Jacket's a tough movie to get through, man. It's a great movie, but it's tough. I think Predator.
This is my rifle. This is my gun.
This one's for fighting. This one's for fun. I think I'm going Predator, though. You could talk me into it being Full Metal Jacket, though.
Well, I looked at the list and right away knew exactly which one it would be for me, and that's Lost Boys. So
yeah, I'm not mad about that pick at all.
I don't know why, but that was one of my favorite movies of the entire 80s. Probably the time period for me. I was a teenager, and yeah, that's another one of those movies where I went and saw it at the theater like 5 or 6 times.
Lost Boys is a great movie.
Lost Boys also has an underrated soundtrack. I really love almost all the songs from that.
You'll pull up the soundtrack.
Especially the creepy Calliope music, which used to, when I worked at Kroger's, every time I'd pull up with my, tins blasting in the back, would play the creepy Calliope music. Just because it freaked people out. Trolling before there was such a thing. 10 seconds.
Lock down on Twitter. Tweet at The Rob Brown Show on the Upstate Sports Leader, ESPN Upstate.
Vegas has put out its odds for Tim Tebow's success after he signs a 1-year contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still has to make the roster and then still has to show he can play the tight end position. But how does Vegas feel about his chances for success? Well, via PointsBet, Lonzo, the numbers, and again, Vegas is unbiased because at the end of the day, the only thing Vegas cares about is making them dollars. Their job is to set the lines to make them dollars. Via PointsBet out in Vegas, Zoe, they have set the over. Hey, here, let's see what Zoe thinks. Lonzo, I want you to set me, should he make the team, set me an over-under for the amount of receiving yards that Tim Tebow will have this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Receiving yards, set the over-under for me. Whole season.
I'm going to go 400.
400 receiving yards. You know what Vegas set the number at for over-under receiving yards, Lonzo?
Probably a lot less.
12.5.
In the entire season?
12.5 yards for the season.
So here,
the over-under.
They don't believe he's making the team.
Make the team. And if he does, he won't do anything to help them receiving the football. For receiving yards, the under, not only is the over-under 12.5, Lonzo, but the over is a plus 350 underdog. Plus 350. Bet 100, win 350. The under lands at minus 500, which means you have to bet 500 to win 100 if Tim Tebow does not get to 12 receiving yards on the season.
Tebow, yards after catch, he's getting 3 to 4 yards a pop because he's going to put his shoulder down and he's going to barrel into somebody.
Yeah, that's 3 catches for Tim Tebow. Tops 3 catches, maybe 2. So basically, the over-under is, will he be on the field as a tight end, right? Will he be on the field? The other over-under they put out there is receiving touchdowns. How many receiving touchdowns will he have? Lonzo, set the over-under for receiving touchdowns for Tim Tebow this year.
Wow, with as low as what they set, I'm going to get receiving touchdowns. I'm going to go 12.
They set it at 0.5. 1. If he catches 1 touchdown in 17 games for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1 touchdown in 17 games, the over hits. And on that one,
do they have how many touchdowns he throws?
Not that I have found yet, but I'm going to keep an eye out for it because I'm sure more prop bets will be coming out over the next couple of days. These are the first ones on the board. The over under on NFL touchdowns receiving, they have to be receiving touchdowns. Is 0.5. The under lands at minus 500, which means that you have to bet $500 to win 100 if Tebow does not receive a single touchdown. The over pays plus 350. Meaning if you bet a hundo and he catches a single touchdown, you bet a hundo, you win 350 back on top of it. Lonzo, I don't believe that Tim Tebow is going to be a breakout player at tight end. I don't believe he's going to be good at tight end. I think
first of all, what is a breakout player at tight end? I mean, you can throw out Travis Kelce, you can throw out George Kittle. I mean, you can throw, there's those guys, I guess, are breakout players, but the tight end is not. It's not so featured that it's a breakout position, unless it's a couple like the couple guys I mentioned who are just they're amazing no matter what position they're at. So there are tight ends on every team. How often do you hear about them?
Okay. I'll rephrase that. I don't believe that Tim Tebow will break out as a tight end for the Jags. But, Lonzo, these are both bets I'm taking the over. 12.5 yards and a single touchdown and paying out at plus 350 if he does it. Here's the thing. This is an easy bet for me because the Jags know. You sent me the Twitter earlier. Tim Tebow Jags jerseys are already for sale at, what were they, Zoe? Like $1.80 a pop for a Tebow jersey?
Yeah. I was curious. I mean, is this a normal thing? I know it's not, but what if he doesn't make the team? Does the value of those jerseys go up or go down?
In Jacksonville, they are going to sell out. I don't know what happens if he doesn't make the team, but they're going to sell. I promise you, they're going to sell out of Tebow jerseys in Jacksonville, his hometown. Now, here's the thing. That's because Tebow is a spectacle. He's a moneymaker. He's a guy that the Jacksonville fans are going to show up and show out for. They know that if his face shows up on the scoreboard, it's going to get the fans up because they love the dude there. Tim Tebow, I'm going to call this shot now, Lonzo. The Jags will either be up 3 or down 3 touchdowns in one game this year. And Tebow is going to get thrown at 6 or 7 times, including a couple in the red zone. Defenders are not going to take him seriously. And he is going to reel in 13 yards and a touchdown in at least one game. Do I think he's going to be a game changer? No. Do I think 12.5 yards and 0.5 touchdowns is more than feasible and possible for Tim Tebow? Absolutely. Guys, this is free money. Mark it down now. Rob Brown putting the guarantee down. Tim Tebow will have 12.5 receiving yards and will have 1 touchdown on the year. Both the overs hit, and the overs are money. Tracy just checked in on the live stream. Tracy says Bovada has receiving touchdowns at over under. Is that 1.5 or a push at 2, Tracy? It's either at 1.5 or over 2 at plus 350. Receptions over 8 at plus 150, and touchdown passes over 1.5 at plus 300. I'll take the over on all. Let's take a break. Speaking of taking, let's take a break. Back after this to wrap up hour 1 on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
Prisma Health, the official healthcare providers of both the Gamecocks and the Tigers, and they want to be the official healthcare provider for you, and they have gone out of their way to make your healthcare needs their priority, and they continue to do so. They have over 2,400 healthcare providers in their network right here in our area, so you can find the doctor that is right for you and the healthcare situation that you need addressed. They have locations all throughout the upstate and the Midlands so that you don't have to go drive into the other half of the state in order to see the doctor that you want to see. And you have so many options for visits. They have different office hours. You can go to the website and schedule an office visit so that you know exactly when and where to fit it into your busy schedule. And if you're just too busy, then you can schedule a virtual appointment. Meet with your doctor right from your house, right from your office. You can't drive across town because you're just one of those 8 to 8 never stop kind of people. Well, schedule that appointment virtually right there on their website at prismahealth.org so that you can fit it into your busy day. They bend over backwards to make sure that taking care of your health is easy and convenient. To learn more, go to their website at prismahealth.org, prismahealth.org. It's Prisma Health right here in the upstate. Yes, I saw that, JB. I am going to I'm going to come up with that in the next segment, as a matter of fact. Where'd you get that from? Be interested to see that. Over under for Tebow set at 2. So 2 is a push. I'll take the over. I'll take the over. And if it's 2 at a push, that's a great value bet. I like that. I like that a lot. Appreciate that info, Tracy. Yeah, if two receiving touchdowns is a push, I'll take the over. And I'll take the over on passing touchdowns too. You don't think they're going to bring that dude in on some game out of reach, or one way or the other, bring Tebow in on a 2nd and 1 and bring back the old Florida Gator jump pass? Yeah, I'm about to receiving yards at 89.5. Wow, really? I think I'm going to stick with the that other website we looked at earlier. But I over the course of a 17-game season, I mean that's really not all that much. What's 89 divided by 17? 7-ish. So he needs to catch 1 10-yard pass a game, and he would be doubling it. He basically needs one 6-yard pass per game, 1 6-yard reception per game to hit that over. It's really not unfeasible. Question is, you get down to the red zone, how often are you taking Tebow, or how often are you taking one of your starting tight ends out to put Timmy Terrific in there?
I think another question is, are they factoring in the quarterback and the fact that he's a rookie quarterback? Having to deal with the complex defenses that he's going to get in the NFL, and maybe that factors in there too. I don't know. We have a very short time when we come back, like seconds.
The Jags are going to try harder to make Tebow happen than the Mean Girls try to make Fat. It's a great reference, Keegan. Great reference. 5 points for you, my man. Great reference. Top of the hour break is what? 2 minutes, Lonzo?
2.5.
2.5. All right. I'm going to run up and grab I think my flag's in the mail. I'm going to run up and grab it. I forgot to do it yesterday.
We'll leave the feed up, and if you're not there and I have to add something, I can.
I can make it up and down in 2 minutes. I may be out of breath when I come back, but I can do it. He said optimistically.
The over-under that Rob makes it to his mailbox and back in time.
Oh, I'm bet on myself, Lonzo. I'm betting on myself.
He's not messing around. Real, unfiltered sports talk on the Rob Brown Show. ESPN Upstate.
Speaker said the Jags are going to try harder to make Tebow happen than the Mean Girls try to make that happen. 1 hour in the books. 2 to go. NBA Award Finalists next on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate. WYRD Greenville. WORD Spartanburg. W249DL Greenville. W246CV Spartanburg. WFBC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
AutomotiveMap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, powered by The Score. Clubs of basketball announcing that they are going to participate in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic in Charleston this upcoming year. They join Boise State, Elon, Marquette, Ole Miss, St. Bonaventure, Temple, and West Virginia. Clubs of baseball, they fall short against Duke yesterday, losing by a 5-1 score. That series does continue tonight. Left-handed pitcher Keyshawn Askew will get the start for Clemson. South Carolina baseball, they lose to number 4 Tennessee yesterday, 10-4. That series also continues tonight. And Coastal Carolina, they defeat Texas State yesterday, 10-5. Game 2 of that series is set to come up this evening. Coastal, a game over 500 now at 24-23. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
Steven Garcia, former Gamecocks quarterback, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show.
In my entire career at South Carolina, I was never allowed to officially host a recruit. However, every single time that we had guys in town, I'd ask Coach Mangus, I'd go up to Coach Beal and say, hey, I don't have anybody, to host again. What the hell's going on? They're like, yeah, Steven, you kind of know why. Right? I was like, no, not really. Obviously I knew why. But then they say, hey, but, here's the deal. Once they get done doing all their official stuff, I appreciate if you kind of showed them around town and, had a party at your house or something. I was like, wait, so y'all can't give me friggin' the $40 or whatever that I got to host these guys, but you want me to show them around and have a party at my house? I mean, come on, man. That's kind of ridiculous.
I got to say, there's some honor in being the official party ambassador of the team, though.
That's pretty common knowledge from what I understand about my reputation.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show. Weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate. Tomorrow on Major League Baseball on ESPN
Look at you
Radio.
breathing out your nose, trying to make it sound like you're not.
Jose Abreu and the AL Central leading White Sox head to the Bronx to face Garrett Cole and the New York Yankees.
Here comes from Garrett Cole.
Unless someone swiped it.
Swinging on a high fastball. 99.
How big's your mailbox?
There is nobody like that guy.
Tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 on your home for the best games in the MLB, ESPN Upstate.
Warning.
And check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
And this is the kind of text. Yeah, you want to know why people are put off by the Tebow talk? You want to know why? It's because, and this is not a shot at you, texter. Please understand that. But this is from somebody who worked in that area for a very long time. All right. At ESPN, Las Vegas cannot equate Tim Tebow's intangibles, discipline, an unparalleled spirit of competition, and the development of the youth by leading with a strength of character, making the team a real team sooner than later. Here's the problem I have with that. Tim Tebow has not been in the NFL in 9 years. So I don't get on board when somebody says he'll outwork everybody. Will he? Because he hasn't outworked everybody enough in 9 years to be on a team. And I agree with you. Tim Tebow does a phenomenal job in a leadership role. I've got a dear friend of mine, Chris Klein, lives down in Tallahassee, Florida. Chris is a big Florida State guy. Chris helps run an event that Tim Tebow started. I don't remember the name of the event. It's a night to remember or something like that. But basically, they put on a prom for special needs students in Tallahassee. And they do it all over the South. But my buddy Chris works very closely with the folks who do it in Tallahassee. Tim Tebow shows up every year. Every year he shows up just to hang out with these special needs kids. He's a phenomenal guy. But I need you to know, when you run a seam route against an NFL linebacker, how great you are with kids doesn't come into the equation. It just doesn't. Right? Who was the player? Who was the player a couple of years ago that took Adrian Peterson? Took a bunch of flack because he beat the hell out of his kid. And Adrian Peterson was still on an NFL team. How you are with kids. This is the kind of stuff that frustrates people who like to talk football that aren't Tebow fans, though, because I've been getting these texts my whole career, right? Tim Tebow's great with kids. That's why he'll be a great tight end. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works, but that's what gets brought up when we talk about Tim Tebow.
Well, it seems like that you're like some other people who are offended by the very idea that Tim Tebow could be back in the NFL. And
I just said I'm betting the over on all
this. I know, but I mean, there's vitriol. There's something behind it. And I think maybe you're coming more at the Tebow fans than you are at Tebow himself. But if you're, which is the same with me in Clemson, by the way. And people automatically, you no, I just don't like the fans. So it would seem that you don't like I don't want to say majority, but a certain sect of Tim Tebow fans. In the end, let's just see what happens. If he comes out and he plays well, it's going to all these haters, all these people that are on all the shows talking about Tim Tebow, and they're so disgusted about it. When it really comes down to, they don't have anything else to talk about. When he just comes out and he plays average, they make it through the entire season. Jacksonville wins like 4 games. This is a non-story.
This is not. I feel like I say this every time this guy comes up. It's not an anti-Tebow thing, but when I'm talking football, I'm not they're afraid of a person.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against them. I've met him. He's a super good dude, and I just said I'm betting all of the overs on him. We got a guy that texted in a minute ago, said, "Hold my drink. I'm about to double parlay those overs for $100." Yeah, me too. Me too.
I gotta say, I've never bet in Vegas in my entire life, and this makes me want to throw down a little bit of cash.
I'm about to be Zoe's bookie for some Tim Tebow bets because those are great numbers to throw a double parlay down on. Up those odds to like plus 800. Put a hundo down, and we're all going to grab a steak once he gets that first touchdown. Yes, but critiquing him as a football player, people take everything personally, right? Critiquing Tebow as a football player is not the same thing as critiquing Tebow the person. I know some people that think Tim Tebow is cheesy and he's corny, and I'll tell you the truth. Like I've mentioned many times, Tim Tebow and I would not be friends. We would not get along. All right?
I disagree. I think you guys could find common ground. You could sit down. You could talk football. You could talk. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Zoe and I are friends, and Zoe's more in the Tebow camp. in the way he lives his life, and we're still buddies. I agree.
I think it's all about how you define friendship and how you could actually be a friend with someone, because you can be friends with people that you may not agree with on lifestyle, that you may not agree with on other things, but you can find.
I'm not getting Zoe to come to the club and knock back a couple of old fashions with me.
You're not,
but we could hook up on Xbox and play some 76 and have a good time.
You can find common ground. I mean, I've had these conversations with people before. I may not agree with Barack Obama's politics. All right, I don't agree with, obviously, but I could sit down and talk basketball with him, because from what I can tell, he's a pretty big basketball fan. We can have a conversation. I can get beyond other things to have conversations. It's the same thing with Tebow. I think you and he might laugh and joke and have a good time. It's every possibility it could happen.
Literally done that. ESPN, there's a line of cars leading out of a gas station in Jacksonville right now, but it's not because they've run out of gas. It's because they're packaging one Tebow jersey, a pack of yellow jackets, 4 Ice House tall boys for $199.
Is that a good price? You got to tell me. I don't know if is that a good price on all that?
So you sweet summer child. You sweet summer child. And at ESPN, you must hate Captain America. Hey, I watched Captain America cuss. They made a whole running joke out of it. All right? I'm just saying. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN, Texas 71307 is the number. Another story that I wanted to get into on the show today, and that is our NBA Awards Finalists. They are out. The odds on them winning are out, and they are no surprise. Your MVP finalist, Joel Embiid of the 76ers, Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors, and your clear-cut, no questions asked, take it to the bank, guaranteed winner, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets are your top 3, your MVP finalists. Rookie of the Year finalists, Tyrese Halliburton from the Kings, Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves, and hey, Zoe, Charlotte got a name on the list. LaMelo Ball is a Rookie of the Year finalist for the Hornets. I think LaMelo was very much in the running for that award as the front runner for that award to right at the very end. The injury to Miles Bridges. LaMelo had some issues of his own that got him to miss a couple of games. I'm not saying he's not the winner, but it is a much tighter race than it was probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when I think LaMelo Ball was absolutely the front runner there. But I think LaMelo Ball could still very much be your Rookie of the Year. Sixth Man of the Year finalist, Jordan Clarkson of the Jazz, and Joe Ingles. Zoe? Sixth man. The sixth man. And the Jazz have 2? They have 2 six-mans. Can only be one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 your starters, and then the next guy off the bench to give you the spark is a 6th man, but they got 2 6-mans. Wouldn't one of them have the definition be the 7th man?
Yeah, I'm not a math genius over here, but I don't think you can have 2 six men. You're right.
Let's all count, kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. That's how it works, according to the NBA. Defensive Player of the Year, Ben Simmons of the 76ers, Draymond Green of the Warriors, and Rudy Gobert of the Jazz. It's gonna be Rudy Gobert. The dude is a lockdown artist down inside of the paint. Rudy Gobert is going to win that award, no doubt about it. How about your Coach of the Year finalists this year? Jazz, Quinn Snyder, Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, and Monty Williams of the Suns. You know what's fun about this list? You know what's great about this list of Coach of the Year finalists? Monty Williams has been other places, failed miserably. The Suns are the 2 seed. Tom Thibodeau, remember, he was in Chicago. Chicago had some great talent. Thibodeau sucked at Chicago. He gets another run as the head of the Knicks in a move that I LOL'd at because I thought, wait a minute, James Dolan's squad, a squad that has been hot garbage inside of a dumpster fire for the past couple of years, brings in Tom Thibodeau, a guy who just got fired for completely mismanaging a young Chicago Bulls team. How is this going to be anything other than hilarious? And suddenly the New York Knicks are a top seed in the East. Suddenly the New York Knicks have a Coach of the Year finalist. And you got Quinn Snyder, who took the Jazz, a team that up until the last couple of years have been a joke. He's not exactly a guy with a track record of success behind him. And dude, Zoe, all 3 Coach of the Year finalists are guys that got their asses handed to them in other organizations around the league. And all 3 of them just turned around and gave me the proverbial metaphorical middle finger, Lonzo. That's impressive.
So everyone who gets angry about retreads, this is right in your face. Going, sometimes a change of scenery will do you good, apparently.
Yeah, maybe. A change will do you good. A change will do you good, said the great Sheryl Crow, right? It's a Sheryl Crow song? I'm going to go with Sheryl Crow.
I believe you may be right.
Final answer, Sheryl Crow. Yeah, how about that? Tom Thibodeau, Quinn Snyder, Monty Williams. Most Improved Player of the Year award, Julius Randle, Michael Porter Jr., and Jeremy Grant from the Pistons. How is it anybody but Julius Randle? How's it anybody but Julius Randle? There are some guarantees on this list. Nikola Jokic, I guarantee you, wins the MVP. Rook of the Year is a toss-up. I'm leaning LaMelo. Sixth Man of the Year, I think they're gonna give it to Derrick Rose for 2 reasons. Number 1, you got 2 six-man finalists from one team, Utah, with Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles. They might butt up against each other and take some votes away. And talk about I don't know, man. Derrick Rose is a feel-good story. Derrick Rose is a guy who was hard to root against, man. Love Derrick Rose. Hard to root against that guy. I think maybe a sentimental vote or 8 go his way, and he gets that. Defensive Player of the Year. Look, Draymond Green. They put Draymond Green on Anthony Davis this past match in the playing game, and Draymond had a go of it, man. Draymond had a really good go of it. He's going to be in the running, but I think Gobert's the runaway favorite there. Coach of the Year, I think it's going to be Tom Thibodeau. Not a lock vote. Monty Williams is going to get a lot, but the folks who vote, the folks in the media, absolutely love to give awards to New York organizations when they can. So I think Thibodeau gets that one. And the Most Improved Player, it's going to be Julius Randle. That's a lock. That's a stone cold guarantee on that one. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, want to jump back into that discussion that we were having back during the lunch breakdown. And it is going to be, will teams make personnel decisions based on the willingness to get vaccinated by said personnel? One team is already what I consider at a competitive disadvantage because their players will not. Zoe says I'm blowing it out of proportion. How do you feel? We'll figure it out next on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
I done slipped on the wrong button.
By the way, Velveteen Dream has been released.
Yes, I saw that, and I am completely unsurprised. The only surprising thing was it took as long as it did.
Well, all the allegations, from what I can tell, are still unconfirmed, and there haven't been any lawsuits or anything like that.
Lawsuits are only going to come if the victims decide to bring one. But I mean, listen, I heard the recordings. It was never denied that was him on the recordings. And if you are WWE looking to protect your image, that was the decision that ultimately had to be made. And the fact that they hadn't trotted him out even in a let's feel out how the crowd responds kind of situation was weird.
Yeah. Still remember him against Aleister Black, the Say My Name match.
Oh, dude.
That was such a cool storyline.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, here's what sucks the most. Brandon Walker and I have conversations in the past. I fully believe Velveteen Dream was the next face of the company, man. I believe that dude was going to reach Cena levels. He had everything going for him. Great on the mic, great in the ring, charisma through the roof. And he collapsed on himself, which is disappointing. Some indie circuit somewhere, if they give him a chance, is gonna get a star. Question is, will he be able to come back from that in the long run?
Or will AEW take a chance?
I don't see him doing that. I think AEW is a little more.
I mean, after what Sammy said, and they brought him back.
Yeah. Sammy already being there, I think, went a long way in that. And I think Sammy profusely apologizing without that we know being directed to went a long way. But Sammy being mean, and it was awful, but Sammy being mean is a lot different than Velveteen making suggestive comments to a teenage girl. There's a pretty big gulf between those two. I think AEW is a little more socially conscious than WWE, or socially aware than WWE is. So I doubt, even though they know that kid would be a star, I don't think they take the hit.
We'll see. Maybe Impact. I mean, maybe he goes to Japan.
I could see Impact. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough spot.
And I didn't see anything about non-compete, but I think they all sign those, don't they? And how long are those? 3 months maybe or something like that?
I have no idea.
I'm seeing Enzo and Cass showing up all over the place at different wrestling organizations. Yeah.
Together or different?
Well, together and apart. And if Cass can show up with some of the stuff that he was accused of also, which is along the same lines, if I recall. You're right. It may just be a lower level where he shows up, but it would not completely shock me if he showed up in AEW.
I see Cash showing up before Enzo. Let me be specific.
I was talking about Velveteen Dream. I still see Velveteen Dream showing up in AEW. Although, there are a lot of people coming out now saying what a bad person he is. So, 30 seconds.
For GSP ESPN. Text keyword ESPN and your message to 71307. Get in the game on the Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN Upstate.
844-477-3734 GSP ESPN. Text us on the text line at 71307. Shoot the text for your money. Tweet us at the Rob Brown Show at ESPN. Real quick text on that last 7. Steph Curry is the league MVP. Took a G League squad to the playoffs, put a terrible team on his back with zero help. I don't know, Draymond's not zero help, but you're right. The Warriors aren't bad. That being said, he's in the play-in tournament. And Nikolai, look, Nikolai Jokic didn't have a ton of help either, especially after Jamal Murray went down. The dude is damn near averaging a triple-double as a 5, as a center, as a big man. I love Steph, man. Steph's a magician. I love the guy. But it's Nikolai Jokic, and it's a runaway. He's like, I want to say he's like minus 5,000 in Vegas. Like, you got to bet $5,000 to win $100 if you bet on Nikolai Jokic. It's nuts. It's nuts. And there's a reason. All right, let's get to this real quick. So we've talked in a couple of times in an abstract, hypothetical way about whether or not professional sports teams, if put into a situation where one or two players would make the difference between hitting the thresholds of vaccinated players put into place by the organizations, right? I'm not talking if there's 15 guys, but if they are one or two players away from hitting the, let's say, MLB's 85% vaccinated requirements in order to lift the COVID protocols, would they make a personnel decision? Would they send someone down? Hey, man, we've decided to send you down in order to hit that 85% threshold. The Chicago Cubs president, Jed Hoyer, came out yesterday and said that he is, quote, disappointed, end quote, that his team is, quote, not likely, end quote, to reach the 85% vaccination threshold that leads to reduced COVID-19 regulations. Hoyer said Thursday morning, quote, it's disappointing to not be at 85% as a team. We've worked hard to try and convince or educate the people that have been reluctant. We're at a place right now. I'm not going to give up hope that we're going to get there, but my level of optimism is waning. It is disappointing. There are conveniences that come with getting 85% as a group. Mask wearing, dining, and things like that we would all like to have. There's a competitive advantage we're going to miss. Being transparent about it, we're not a player away from being at 85%. It's a disappointing thing that will have anxieties and restrictions that others don't. This is one that can be avoided, and we're not able to avoid it in some ways. It's a part of the job I never quite imagined, I being involved in that kind of education, that kind of convincing, end quote. So, the Cubs are not going to hit, at least this year, it doesn't appear, the 85% vaccination rate that the MLB has mandated to be able to lift the protocols that are still in place for many of those teams. Obviously, they include not being able to get together and work out in large numbers, not being able to fill up the entire team in the clubhouse, not being able to dine together in the clubhouse or on the road. They will still have travel restrictions placed on them, hotel restrictions placed on them, restrictions at the away team ballparks when they show up for games, et cetera, that other teams that have and will soon reach that 85% vaccination level will not have. To me, that is absolutely a competitive disadvantage, right? It's a competitive disadvantage. You lose out on the ability to really go through those team and chemistry building events together. Lifting weights together builds chemistry, builds that bond between teams. Why do you think teams lift as teams? Because it's a chemistry building experiment. Being able to sit together after practice and have a meal together after practice. There's a reason why family dinners are considered so important. It's bonding time. And a team acting like a family has the same benefits that you and your family do when you sit down to dinner together. Being able to travel together as a group, to join together as a group in hotel rooms and in hotel conference rooms to talk is a competitive advantage. All of that are competitive advantages. Things that happen off of the field of play will give you competitive advantages on it. And the Cubs are going to miss out on that. Well, if they go down to play, let's say, the Marlins, right? And the Marlins have hit that 85%. So they're lifting together. They're eating dinner together. They're traveling together. They're staying together. They're able to have full in-person team meetings together. That is a competitive advantage. Doesn't make them a better baseball team, but it gives them a competitive advantage. So if I am the Chicago Cubs and I'm sitting right at 84% vaccination rate, and I've got a backup right fielder who I only use in spot play situations, and that backup right fielder refuses to take the vaccine, I got to tell you, as a GM, there's a good chance I'm sending him down to AAA ball and calling up another guy who is vaccinated so that my guys can have all of those events together. It is 100% his choice whether or not he wants to take the vaccine, and I would not demand otherwise. But it's the same thing as it is your choice if you want to eat a chicken breast and a salad with no dressing, or if you want to down an entire Papa John's large pizza the night before the game. It's your choice, but there will be consequences you have to face by letting yourself do that and getting out of shape and not taking care of yourself. You might lose your contract for doing that, and it's on you. So I will be 0% surprised if teams that are hovering around that 85% rate don't start sending guys down who don't want to get vaccinated. It's still their choice, but it's also their consequences.
So you're in your hypothetical, it's a backup player. What if it is your first baseman, your shortstop, and your best pitcher? You sending all those guys down?
Probably not. The competitive disadvantage is greater by not having those guys than it is by not being able to lift weights together. It's a pros con thing to me.
So, I mean, the message you're sending, if you're a fringe player, you better do this or you're not going to be on the team. But if you're a star, you're going to get star treatment and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's how it works in every sport, in every situation.
So outside of mandatory vaccinations, there's really nothing you can do. I don't know that it really sends a message if you send a fringe player down and bring another fringe player back up. If you want to send a message, if you're hardcore on this and you want to make sure that you get your quota, then you send down a starter. And you're not going to do that, so it's just empty words.
To be abundantly clear, I don't give a gosh darn about sending a message. I care about winning baseball games if I'm the manager, right? If I'm the general manager, if I'm the personnel director. I don't care about let me rephrase that. At the end of the day, my job is to win baseball games, win pennants, win trophies. That's my job. If I can do that and also send a good message, great. That's fantastic. I am not trying to send a message about how important I think it is to be vaccinated, although I do. I am trying to send trophies into my trophy case. And if I've got 84% vaccination rate, and I've got, let's say, two of my starting pitchers, let's say I got Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard for the Mets, and neither one of those guys wants to get vaccinated. I don't know if they do or don't. I have no idea. I'm just using them as an example. I got two guys in deGrom and Syndergaard who say, I'm not taking it. It's my choice and I don't want to take it. Fine. And then I got a third string right fielder that has only played in a couple of games here and there. Maybe he's a pinch runner here and there, and that's really it. And I got to send one of those guys down in order to get 85%. The backup.
So it's just about quota. It's just about getting the percentage up.
It's about the competitive advantages that I gain by being to operate as a normal team to make my baseball club better. Yes, I think maybe that's where our signals got crossed. So I'm not trying to send a message about how important vaccinations are. If I can do it, great. I'll pull the trigger on that and try to earn some goodwill. But I don't really care about the message. If I can keep my starting rotation together by sacrificing a third string right fielder and hit my quota, I will.
But see, I don't think that's what this is about. I think this is about trying to embarrass your team into taking the vaccination. That's what I'm gathering from the story. I'm not gathering the things that you are. What I'm hearing is they won't do it. So we're just going to embarrass them by saying that not enough of my team will do this, to try to force them to do it through embarrassment.
I disagree. I think Jed Hoyer is genuinely frustrated. I think he is. I think Jed Hoyer is looking at the restrictions that the Chicago Cubs have that the Atlanta Braves do not. right? The Cubs can't eat meals together. The Braves can. The Cubs can't work out together. The Braves can. The Cubs cannot travel in certain ways. The Braves can. They can't have hotel meetings together before a game. The Braves can. That is a genuine competitive advantage. And if I am Jed Hoyer and my job depends on my baseball team winning games, and my team is making it harder on themselves to win, I would also be massively frustrated, and I would also be willing to talk about it, right? I would first go to the team and go, guys, look, here's the deal. We need 10 more of you to get vaccinated, and you do it, we get to live together, eat together, work out together, travel together, have full meetings in person together, do all these things as a normal baseball club. I need y'all to do it. And then if 2 weeks later I didn't have the guys do it, yeah, I'd go public. Yes, I would talk about it because I would be frustrated. You are making your job harder, which makes my job harder and threatens my paycheck. And when you start to threaten my paycheck, that's when Rob Brown gets angry and tries to fix it any means necessary.
So you haven't considered that this could have the opposite effect, that you hurt morale, that you hurt team chemistry, that you hurt all the things that you're supposedly striving for by embarrassing said team. That anger is going to come at you, that you have pointed the finger at guys on the team. So now aspiring media sources will go, oh, gee, I wonder who hasn't taken it yet. And then suddenly they call them out and then they're embarrassed even more. That's not if they are embarrassed. If anything, it puts them out in the public. So you put your team out there. So now you've made your team, certain players stand out and you've singled them out. So how can they be a team player? Because you've singled them out. I just think it can have the opposite effect.
It might, but it's a calculated risk from me because I have two situations based on my words. Situation one is that I believe there are benefits. There are tangible benefits to getting to 85% and having my team be able to operate as a normal ball club. And then on the other hand, I have the risk and the negatives that come with, well, maybe this causes a rift in the locker room. And I got to weigh one against the other. And if I think the benefits of getting to 85%, the competitive benefits of getting to 85%, I think they outweigh the negatives and the risk that come with calling guys out and embarrassing them. I will take it. Sometimes embarrassing and calling somebody out is a damn good motivational tool. And maybe if I can get it pointed out that my guys are unwilling to do this and fix this so we can be a normal ball club, maybe it gets the guys I need to go get the shot to get to that 85%, and we can move on and go back to normal. That is, though, and this is why GMs operate different. It is a risk-reward situation that you have to go left and right. You got to figure one out, right? You got to go risk-reward here. To me, the benefits of getting everybody able to operate as a normal, unrestricted ball club vastly outweigh the possibility that some of the guys on my team create a rift. And even if they create a rift within the ball club, what's it matter? There's already one right now because I promise you, the guys that are vaccinated, the guys that want to go back to operating as a normal club, and they're looking across the locker room at the guys that refuse to get the shot and are solely preventing the rest of them from operating as a normal club, they're already upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe that because I'm not in the locker room and I don't know. I think that's an assumption, and I it could be an educated assumption, but I'm going to believe it's the opposite of that. That team players stand up for their teammates, and whatever their stance is, they're okay with it.
If you have a teammate that goes out and does a bunch of dumb stuff, like if you got a teammate that goes out and does a bunch of dumb stuff that hurts the team, at some point you go, all right, bro, I can't support you doing this stuff anymore. I can't. You got to do better. We know that. We've all been in that situation. I've been in that situation in radio, in athletics, in banking, in government, right? There's a line. And if you are making my job harder, you cross that line. I promise. All right. Your thoughts are welcome. 71307. We've got a couple of texts that have come in the last couple of minutes. We'll address those when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show.
Let's see who we got. Hello, Miss Lisa. Great to see you. Welcome in, as always. What's up, Bigfoot? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you coming by, man. Did y'all end up pulling off the victory in the restaurant bracket on offsides? I saw it was close for a while there, but the last time I checked in, you guys were up by a handful of votes. So I hope you pulled it off. Keegan says Lonzo's optimism is refreshing. Rico Suave, what's up, my man? Long time no see, pal. Hey, I'm gonna be down in Florida next weekend. I'll be over in Navarre for the weekend on Navarre Beach. I got a couple of my South Carolina folks coming down to see the Sugar White Sands for the first time. So, man, if you're free one night last week, shoot me a message and man, we'll catch up if we can for sure. Big win. I love it. Well done. Rob, you have to see Thomas's post-victory press conference video. I do not know what you are talking about, but yes, I do. Yes, I do. I trust you, Keegan. If you tell me it's a must-watch, it's a must-watch. I'm here for it. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I was like in my sports set and I'm like, Justin Thomas? Michael Thomas? I didn't realize. So yeah. All right. Let's go.
Let's get started. I don't have a lot of time right here.
1 minute.
Oh man, what a big victory. I mean, we really pulled it out. 53%.
Dude. Money. Money. Big time. Number 1 seed. We're excited, but I think we can do it. We think we can pull it off, and we're going to give it our best shot. No problem at all. Yeah, right here. With only being open 6 months, did you really expect to pull off this win? What do you mean? 6 months?
30 seconds, Harley, in the next break.
Thomas, bro, bravo. Beautifully well done.
Read. So he says. Email Rob Brown at ESPNUpstate.com and we'll put him to the test. This is the Rob Brown Show. Local sports talk on ESPN Upstate.
All right, so you are the general manager of the Chicago Cubs. Your team is 84% vaccinated. You cut one guy. You get over the 85%. Are you pulling the trigger? Are you sending down someone who will not get vaccinated in order to go back to regular operations? A couple of texts. that have come in so far. At ESPN, I know nothing has changed in over a year that the elderly with an underlying medical condition are at risk, and I feel the vaccinations narrative doesn't follow the science. It is overly political, and history will not be kind to how far too many wish to invoke fear and control for no known reason. Neil, dude, I am so fundamentally in disagreement with you, like at every level of that. All right. It's like, I'm not going to go into why. I think we know why, but I could not fundamentally agree with that more. At ESPN, don't forget also that there has to be some expense and increased operating costs to maintain more rigid COVID protocols. Yes. And you're right. But as we've talked about many times, what brings in more money than anything else? Winning. Winning brings in more money than anything else, right? First off, do you have any data that supports that it is costing more to operate a ball club that is not COVID restricted than it is? I don't know that. Do you have any evidence? Do you have the numbers? Do you have the data that says that it is more expensive to operate a COVID restricted club than a non-COVID restricted club? I don't believe that is true. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't believe that it is true. At ESPN, and this is probably one of the interesting takes we've gotten, Zoe, MLB has no voice in the vaccination narrative, having allowed steroids and sign stealing to win championships. I believe teams are not conforming to the pressures and following the, that's the other text, are not conforming to the text got cut in half, but basically says that because MLB allowed steroids and sign, they didn't allow steroids. They just didn't really aggressively pursue it to stop it. And they
I think you'd have to say if you don't aggressively pursue something, you kind of are allowing it. Yeah. If you're aware of it and you're not stopping it, then you're allowing it, right?
Yeah. But steroids damage the players. I mean, it damaged the image of the game, but it didn't damage the game. It damaged the image of the game. At ESPN, as a Cubs fan, I wholeheartedly am behind Hoyer. Do what is best for the team. Send down and bring up whatever and whoever it takes to get to the numbers and be competitive. Simple. End quote. So we got one person that says no, one person that says yes, they would be willing to cut a dude who won't get vaccinated if it gets them to the protocol limit. At ESPN, Lonzo is definitely right on this one. It's solely about money in the owner's eyes. Less restrictions means less money for resources needed. The team will have less liability, and that's what it comes down to. Instead of crying about this, about his team, he should be taking that energy to MLB about the 85% rule in the first place. Again, where is your data? Where is your evidence outside of, it makes sense to me, because that's not a good way to determine the truth. What makes sense is not a good way to determine the truth.
I would just like to say that, most truth does make sense. So there's, without it making sense, then how can it be the truth?
Black holes make sense. But
absolutely. There's as a science guy, they make sense.
It makes sense to me, but to most people, they don't, right? Like an infinitesimally small spot in space that can eat every bit of mass and fit it into one singularity. That's mind-blowing, but it's real.
What's really mind-blowing is what's on the other side.
Bum, bum, bum. So, again, if you can prove to me that it costs less money to run a COVID-restricted team than an unrestricted team, then I can give weight to that thought.
I can throw this out along those lines. So whenever the restrictions here cost us money, restrictions other places cost money. Without those restrictions, then you can operate as normal. You don't have to worry about, okay, does this need to be scrubbed down? Does this need to be done this way? Does this need to be, without that, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, to you, it may make sense. To you, it may make sense that it costs less.
Me and many of the listeners.
Well, I'm talking to the texter in question. Not
okay.
Here. To the texter, it may make sense to you. It may be intuitive to you that it costs less money to run a team that is COVID restricted than not. It doesn't to me. But what makes sense to whom is irrelevant to the truth, right? The truth is it either does or it doesn't. Show me that it costs less money, then we can talk. But here's the thing. Billionaires are not known for freely throwing around money. They're known for being very stingy. If there were billionaire MLB owners that believe they could save money by operating a team with restrictions into perpetuity, they would restrict themselves. They wouldn't wait for MLB. They'd restrict themselves.
Breaking news. MLB owners try to save money.
Hope you were all sitting down.
We haven't used it today, so you know.
By the way, you know what? Let's take a break when we come back. If you missed it last night, me, Lonzo Diesel, and Mark Ryan had a sit down where we talked about the UFO stuff. It's on our Facebook page at facebook.com/ESPN Update. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining, and we have decided that we are going to start every couple of weeks a new show called ESPN Off Topic, where basically the four of us are going to talk. We got a Bigfoot conversation coming up at some point. I know Diesel's in on that one. Oh, yeah. Bigfoot conversations coming up at some point. And who knows what else. So stay tuned for that. The one we did on UFOs yesterday is on our Facebook page at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Go watch it. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Harley.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
I have been for years riding motorcycles. For years, I've been riding motorcycles. And I can tell you, I've told you before, I'll tell you again. Of all the things that I have ever done in order to give myself a little mental health break, it is by far the healthiest and the best. I promise you. You get up on two wheels, you get that fresh air, you throw down a couple of S-turns up in the hills, and everything that is stressing you out in life will fade away from you for a while. Trust me on that. And that's why you need to go visit our friend at Harley-Davidson of Greenville. They don't sell motorcycles. They sell peace of mind. I'm telling you, I've been doing it for years. Trust me on this. And not only do they sell peace of mind, but they sell motorcycles, and they're beautiful. The new 2021s are in stock, and the new 2021s have the new paints, the new finishes, the new gadgets and gizmos. So you've got the slickest ride in the upstate. And on top of that, if you're not looking for something new, with over 150 pre-owned rigs in their inventory, they are the largest pre-owned motorcycle dealership in the upstate, and they will have the Harley that is right for you. Don't believe me? Fine. Put them to the test. Go visit their showroom at 30 Chrome Drive. You can walk into the big showroom and see all the brand new 2021s. Go check out the showroom with the pre-owns and look through the 150 bikes on the grounds to find the one that's perfect for you. And if you want to just check them out online, that's easy too. UpstateHarley.com. UpstateHarley.com has the entire inventory, all the gear, all the apparel, everything you need to get up on two wheels and get riding. Join me on the roads of the upstate. Go visit our friends at Greenville Harley-Davidson. Okay, so Keegan, I'm glad you said this and brought this back up. There's a reason the word cosmos exists, right? The cosmos is everything that exists, everything that exists. And considering the multiverse theory, right? That there is not just one universe. There may be multiple universes. There may be infinite universes. It may just be that this universe as we know it is infinite. We have no way of knowing that yet. But the multiverse theory, when you say cosmos, it includes everything that exists and could exist. When I say universe, that is only limited to this universe, and we don't know that there's not something outside of the universe. Universe is not the expansive term for everything that it is everything that we know of, but there may be something outside of the universe, and we refer to that as the cosmos. The reason I don't say space is because if I'm talking about everything in the universe, we're not in space right now. We're not in space. We're on planet Earth inside.
Cosmos is a haughty intellectual term.
But it's an accurate one, and if you want to call me arrogant because I like to be linguistically...
I knew I left a word out.
Haughty, intellectual, elitist. I'm putting that on the back of the Rob Brown t-shirts when we get them made, okay? If you want to call me a snob, that's fine. I accept it, Keegan. I accept that. But I am also correct. And that's the important. I would rather be correct and a snob than incorrect and whatever the opposite is.
I have a question. So should you change your vocabulary to match the room? In other words, should you dumb it down if it's necessary? Or should you continue to use $500 words in a room with $10 people?
No, I try to be a man amongst the people, Zoe. You know, I'm a man amongst the people. I could have gotten far more haughty, intellectual, elitist yesterday when we talk about outer space than I did, right? Like I could have gone way off the deep end, but I try to be a man of the people. That being said, to me, it is more important to be accurate. When you are having a discussion with multiple viewpoints.
I do want to clarify that the $10 people, what I meant was Mark and Diesel and myself. I wasn't talking about the listeners. So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, and I get it, but see, here's the other thing. So I have infinite respect for your intelligence and Diesel's intelligence.
Or do you have infinite respect for our lack of intelligence? Do you think, bless their heart?
No. I have respect.
30 seconds.
So for me, when I use these words, yes, I'm working under the assumption that you know what I am talking about. So I'm not going to, to me, it is more important to be specific, accurate, and correct than it is for somebody to go, you're an elitist snob, which has now happened like 11 times in the last 2 days. That's fine. But I am accurate, specific, and correct when we talk about these things. And that's the only way to have a conversation that goes somewhere.
Every time you say haughty, I feel guilty. And I apologize for that.
Do you though?
Yeah, I just apologize. It doesn't mean that I felt it.
Well, opinions are like, we'll say, everybody has one.
Call 844-GSP-ESPN. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob Lonzo. Yeah. Wrapping up hour number 2. Text line 71307. The Ingles Market text line's open for you at ESPN. What is the difference between a team requiring a physical before they will clear a player on waivers or take him on a big contract and this? The answer is nothing. Requirements are requirements to be a part of any team, and the team, as the owners determine it, Hoyer is right. End quote. Hey, look, I have not said that the vaccine should be mandatory. I think there is a large difference between we demand you meet certain physical requirements versus how you get there, right? Like if the requirement is that you need to be under 200 pounds, and I elect to get under 200 pounds by eating what I want to eat, but running 50 miles a day, and Zoe wants to get under 200 pounds by only eating lettuce for months at a time, it doesn't matter. Having someone inject the vaccine into themselves is a lot different for that. I'm fine with it. It wouldn't bother me, but I know it would absolutely be a fart in church and disruptive. So I understand why. But to say that, if you keep us from getting to our required protocol limit, you are at risk of being shipped out. No issue with that at all. None at all. None at all. All right, coming up in the final hour of the week, ladies and gentlemen, just 1 hour left to go. We'll talk a little bit about Travis Etienne. NASCAR is going to be fun this weekend. Even if you're not a big fan, I'll tell you why. And imagine making it to AAA ball and then having to face Major League Baseball's best pitcher. It was interesting. We'll talk about all that more in the final hour of the show, along with Twitter trending topics on the way out the door on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Cosmos exists for people like you to say you're a space snob without saying, hey, I'll say it. I'm a space snob, man. I love space. I read it. Like that's what I read about it. That's what I read about when I'm bored, man. I read about that stuff. It just fascinates me. I don't understand how you wouldn't find it incredibly fascinating. The premise of this infinite great beyond, of which we know hardly anything, that just goes on to who knows where. It may go on to infinity. It may not have an end. One of my favorite thoughts, Lonzo, we've talked about what is at the end of the year? You get to the wall. Is it like just what's on the other side of space? What's on the other side of the universe? Is there something? Do we pop through some sort of border into another universe? Is there just some sort of physical barrier that we can't understand? Is there an end? Is it by definition infinite, man?
So you're talking about the infinite frontier from Star Trek, or maybe you get to the edge of the universe and find out that it's round and you can't actually reach the end of the universe.
But if it is, I mean, is it? There's an old.
Or maybe you cross into null space where nothing exists but the gray.
Yeah. And if so, what is the gray? What is it? It's got to be something to go. Warning.
Man, check this out.
We're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Locked down.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Back in the network studio. The PGA Championship taking place at Kiowa right now. And the leaderboard is very interesting. My man, lefty, Phil Mickelson, your clubhouse leader, ladies and gentlemen, turned in a 5 under. He is now at the top of the board, came up 7 places on the leaderboard today and is currently sitting at 5 under after a 2 under yesterday, a 3 under round today, a 70 followed by a 69 in round number 2. Brendan Grace is in second right now. He is sitting at 3 under, squared away with Christian Bezuidenhout, Kevin Streelman, Martine Laird, Keegan Bradley, Victor Hovland, Brooks Koepka is at 3 under, Aaron Wise at 3 under, Hovland, Koepka, and Wise still to tee off. They should be getting off if they're not out yet. Any minute now at 2 under. Corey Connors is sitting at 2 unders, done on the day, turning in a +3 today. And if you're not watching, even if you're a casual golf fan, watch this tournament, man. Watch this tournament because it's getting very, very good. The wind this morning at Kiowa over south of Charleston, the wind up above the trees was hitting as high as a consistent, not a gust, a consistent 20 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, I'm watching Bubba Watson, who's sitting at even, putting for birdie on the par 5, 11th right now. That putt is going to turn just right on him, so he leaves himself about 2 feet for par.
How much of that is skin flapping and not just pants flapping? He's getting a little bit older. I'm just curious.
I mean, listen, if I get into my late 30s and am in the shape Bubba Watson's in, if I get to my next week and am in the shape that Bubba Watson's in at his age, I'll be great. All right. But Bubba's shirt looks like a flag flapping in the wind. Justin Thomas +3 on the day, coming out of the grass right now on the first hole, hitting into Lonzo, into a 27 mile per hour headwind. Now, Zoe, you're not a golfer. You're not a golfer. You don't play golf.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. That's why I said that I'm aware of, ?
I've been golfing and started golfing a little bit, not seriously, but once a month for a while.
Really?
And then I lost 200 pounds of fat. And I have no idea if I went out on a golf course what that would be like. Because if you were fat while you're doing something and you're no longer fat, you might throw something out of whack when you get out there because you're used to how
swinging around yourself.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. People don't. I mean, the struggle's real. But I went quite a few times in Greenwood to go golfing with my guitarist at the time, and I had a good time. But golfers are usually snobs, and they don't want to take someone along who's not real knowledgeable of the game, even though they would like to learn, and they just don't want to. The
majority of us are just out there to have fun.
Well, if you've lived in South Carolina for some time and you're like in this building and you play golf, you're probably pretty good. So there's some snobbery going on.
Speaking of, I don't know if I've told you this before. Did I ever tell you what my mother told me the first time I was on television? First time I'm on TV. This was 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. I was bigger then than I am now. All right. I'm checking in right now about 245. All right. I was about 270 when I got my first TV job. I was a big boy being on TV. I got lucky to get the gig. All right. So the first time I go on TV, I was doing a story down at the Destin Harbor, and my story got picked to go on our television news broadcast. So, I texted everybody, hey, I'm going to be on TV tonight. And my mother watched it, and she says to me, the piece was really good. You looked good. She said, but you might want to work on dropping some LBs because you looked a little heavy, on TV, which is fine. That's fair. I did.
Yeah, and TV will do that to you. It'll make you look heavier.
I said to my mother, Lonzo, I said, well, Mom, the camera adds 10 pounds. And my mother says to me, Lonzo, how many cameras did they have pointed at you? My mom said that. My mother.
That's messed up.
The most important person to me in the world, my mom, says, how many cameras did they have pointed at you when I said the camera adds 10 pounds? I don't know if you know what just pure unbridled defeat feels like, Lonzo, but it does not feel as bad as that snark comment from your mother.
I give the Lonzo Award of approval for the level of snarkdom there. I pride myself in being aware of greatness, and that is indeed greatness.
It was an absolute beatdown of like just the harshest takedown of my life.
The only thing that could have made that story better is if your text alert would have went off right away.
So anyway, yes, the point is I get what you having to swing around yourself feels like. But if John Daly can do it, Zoe, so can we. All right? I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about not having it. You know, I learned how to do it with it. I haven't learned how to do it without it.
All right, we're getting Zoe out on a golf course. We're getting Zoe out on a golf course soon. All right, we'll get you there. Anyway, wind swirling. Justin Thomas is hitting into a 26 mile per hour headwind. That's like guessing 2 clubs added, maybe 1 if you're a big hitter. You're talking 1 to 2 clubs. By the way, you guys know that I love an athlete who is a troll, right? I love an athlete who knows how to get under people's skin. So one of the big criticisms of Bryson DeChambeau, Lonzo, is that, and one of the reasons that I like the guy, is Bryson DeChambeau has kind of taken a lot of the feeling, the intuition out of his golf game, and he plays the game of golf in his head with numbers, right? He's using physics and he's using trigonometry to figure out his shots, as opposed to, well, you know I do this shape and I'm going to try to do this because I feel like nope. He goes, all right, it's 164 to here, and then if I do this angle and substitute X and divide by Y, then that brings me to this club, and then that hill has that angle. Which he tries to math out the golf course.
He's on the tee right now, so I'm wondering, is he going through all that as he's looking?
Oh, 100%. That's his game, right? And he has been one of the guys on the forefront of utilizing science in his equipment, right? Like he's the one that is going to his club distributor to figure out, all right, what if we change the specific alloy compound within the shaft of my driver? What if we put this alloy in the top and that alloy in the bottom to get a little more bend at the bottom but less at the top so I can swing faster, right? He utilizes science and math to try to figure out how to beat the golf course. And it's interesting to me. And, of course, on top of all of that, as he clobbers one, this ball carries 264 into a 20-mile-an-hour wind. That is insanity, all right?
And it looks like it landed exactly where he wanted it to.
Dead center. So he gets a lot of critics. There's a lot of critics also. And this one I don't understand, because the dude added like 40 pounds of muscle. He got yoked, right? Like he is ripped now. And if you go look at pictures of Bryson from like 5 years ago, he was just kind of a skinny nobody. And now he's this freaking bodybuilder on the golf course, right? So he gets a lot of crap for math, science, and bodybuilding on the golf course, which are not, I mean, look at the rest of the golfers. It's not really a thing, right? Yesterday in his first round, Lonzo, when he took off to the course to go play, he wore a polo shirt that had math signs, science words, and dumbbells on it. Hashtag branding, son. He said, if you're going to critique me for science, math, and bodybuilding, I am going to wear a polo shirt with science, math, and dumbbells on it in order to give the people what they don't want. If I wasn't a DeChambeau fan before yesterday, Zoe, and I was, but if I was not a DeChambeau fan before yesterday, I damn sure am now.
Are you going to get that shirt on order if it's available?
If I can find it. If they sell that shirt, that will be on the golf course rotation for me. Absolutely. People will look and go, wow, you're dumb and fat. So how ironic is that shirt? But I will absolutely wear it. Beautiful stuff from Bryson DeChambeau. Anyway, leaderboard right now, again, Phil Mickelson is on top. Martin Laird has made up a stroke. He is 2 under through 2. So Martin Laird starting off high, actually putting for another birdie, and he runs it right by the hole. So, and it's still rolling. Wow. Ran it just off the left-hand lip hole high, and it kept running on him. So now he's got about a 5.5 footer to make par and not give a stroke back. Victor Hovland has birdied his first hole now as well. So he finds himself at 4 under. So now 2 guys breathing down Phil Mickelson's neck at the PGA Championship out at Kiowa on the other coast of the Palmetto State. Let's take a quick break. 8444. Oh, wait. I got a break. I got a message. At ESPN, the biggest snob golf move is the guys that are members of some of the nicer clubs saying, hey, we should go play the Blade sometime, knowing they're never going to invite you, but want you to know that they are a member. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I have gotten that many times in my career. Yeah, man, I'm over at the private club. You know, I'm over at the Sawgrass. And, man, you should come out and play around with me one day. And then that text never gets returned.
You know, speaking of the Blades, I just realized that I actually know a golf pro there. So do you.
Why are we not playing this weekend? I do?
You've met him once.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll tell you who it is in the stream.
Guess I know what I'm doing on Sunday. That's not true. I'm watching the PGA Championship. That's what I'm doing Sunday. Quick break. Back after this. The Rob Brown Show rolls on at ESPN Upstate.
Golf card.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
The 2021 Upstate Golf Card is on sale now, and they are limited. Get yours now. 9 premier Upstate golf courses on the card this year. You're playing all 9 of them for just $99. For under a Benji, you are playing 9 courses in the area, 9 of the most beautiful courses in the area. You're not getting a deal like that anywhere else from anyone else. So grab yours now. Go to upstategolfcard.com to learn more. You can see the courses that are on the card. You can get some details. Check them out now. Go to upstategolfcard.com. Follow them on all the social medias as well to see where and what's new. Go to upstategolfcard.com to get yours. It is the 2021 Upstate Golf Card. Who's the golf pro? Zoe?
Patrick Brown.
Oh, that's right. I did know that. I need to get him on the horn. We need to go out there and play around with him. I need to let him embarrass me one time.
Apparently, he's pretty good. I guess you got to be decent to become a golf pro. I'm thinking.
Yes, it is hard to call yourself a pro when you're bad at something.
Spends his day, playing golf with other people, getting paid for it.
Do love the golfs. If I could get paid to play, I would.
There's a 9-hole course in Greenwood that my guitarist would take me to a bunch, and it's like out in the middle of cow pastures. And the first time we went, there are like groups of golf carts with people just sitting out there in the middle of the course. enjoying themselves, and it is a good place to go learn, because the snobs that I'm talking about, they don't exist out there. At least I didn't see any. So it was a lot of fun for a while. Just being outside is fun, but and actually playing okay the first few times you played.
Yeah, it's funny, we were talking. I played yesterday with Chris Lewis, Doug Irwin, who's the CBO of the Triumph, and Bryson DeChambeau with
name drop.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And John Hartz, the coach of the Triumph. We all went and played yesterday. We played 9, and it was funny. I've told my brother and I have talked about this for years. Golf's interesting, though, because you can play like crap for 3 or 4 holes in a row and like triple bogey them, and then on hole 4 you pipe a drive, get it on the green, birdie a par 4, and all of a sudden you're just in the best mood. You can be angry at yourself for an entire round of 18, but the moment you're done, it's like, what a great day. What a great day. Golf's fun like that, man.
See, there needs to be a ESPN Upstate golf tournament or something. I know it takes a lot to put on something like that, but maybe we start with a miniature golf tournament and we move up from there.
Courtney and I were talking about going to play putt-putt this weekend. Back in Destin years ago, our station used to do a Thursday shotgun deal, where basically we would invite listeners to come out to a particular course and basically just play 18 real quick or 9 with us on an afternoon. Like Thursdays at like 5 o'clock we'd start, and basically we just shotgun start everybody to get 9 in.
I have it on good authority that we may have affiliations with, I don't know, what is it, 10 or 11 golf courses?
Yeah, I don't hate it. We used to do that, and I actually at one point, Zoe, we used to we had a championship belt.
20 seconds.
Whoever won every tournament got to hold on to the belt.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Text us anytime at 71307. Use keyword ESPN followed by your comment. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Imagine that you are a minor league baseball player. Young guy, low 18. You are trying to make it to the show, or maybe you're a little bit older. Maybe you realize that your opportunity at the show is over, but you just love baseball, and hey, they're still paying you, so you'll play a little of a baseball and have a little fun doing it, right? Imagine you're a player for the Palm Beach Cardinals. The Palm Beach Cardinals. It's a low A ball club. And you basically are, like I said, you're either at the very beginning of your career and just getting started, or you're towards the end of your career. You're just playing a couple more years because you love the game and you don't want to give it up until you absolutely have to, and you can make it to a low A club. And then imagine that one day you get put at number 1 in the lineup. You're the leadoff, or maybe you're the cleanup batter, and the pressure's on because you, as a member of the Palm Beach Cardinals, are going up against another team. And you learn that this team is going to be sending up the St. Lucie Mets. And up on the hill for their starting pitcher is Jacob deGrom. Now, if you don't know who Jacob deGrom is, Jacob deGrom is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner with a fastball, Lonzo, that averages a tick slower than 100 miles an hour for the duration of a game, and a change-up that averages 91.1 miles per hour. His slow ball comes at you at 91. Jacob deGrom was in the line for the St. Lucie Mets against the Palm Beach Cardinals this weekend. He got out there in a rehab start, trying to get it all together. He's been out due to some back spasms, and they're working him back up towards the Mets starting rotation. So he's out there for a rehab stint against the St. the Palm Beach Cardinals. Jacob deGrom took the hill and was throwing consistent, 102 mile per hour heaters at these low A ball club players. 102 on the radar consistently. The Palm Beach Cardinals tweeted out 2 innings into the game, Lonzo, Jacob deGrom is throwing 102 miles per hour. Someone send help. End quote. A few minutes later, they posted a video of deGrom on the hill blasting a heater thigh high at 102, and the Cardinals tweeted out, "Come on, Mets, what do you expect us to do?" As he fanned, I believe, 20 batters at the dish. A little bit later, a guy by the name of Kevin O'Reilly tweeted at them, "Here's an idea, Cardinals. Learn to hit the fastball." The Cardinals responded, "We have 8 hitters who were born after the year 2000, Kevin." I don't know why the sarcasm from a club is great, but it is. The Mets responded to the Cardinals and said, "We'll take him back now. Sorry for any inconvenience." The Cardinals responded, "Are you though? Are you really sorry?" Imagine, Zoe, getting your chance to play pro ball. You crack the lineup and you go up against a guy who at the MLB level before his injury had a .67 ERA and averages triple figures on the radar gun with his heat. Lonzo, I think I'd just retire. I think I'd retire before warm-ups begin.
No way. No way. This is, if you believe that you belong in the show and you got a chance to go up against the guy who's already there and you can get a hit off of this guy, you're jumping up a couple levels after that, aren't you? If you crack a home run off of him, now they'll say, well, he's still, he's rehabbing, so you didn't get his best stuff. But if you get that hit, no way be afraid of that. Man, that would be awesome. This is your chance, maybe your one chance at bat against one of the best in the game. Why would you not want to get up there and give it a shot? Even if it's only 3 shots, you got 3 of them.
The eternal optimism. So, you ever seen in person a 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
I've been to baseball games, Rob.
No, I'm talking like.
I haven't been up to the bat to see them, but
I have. There was a guy that played at Crestview High School back in Okaloosa County, where I'm from, named Blake Dean, and Blake went to LSU. And this was when I was on the radio down in Destin. Blake Dean went to LSU. I think he made it to the show for like a year or two. He's an all right player, but he was big on giving back to the community. So he built a baseball complex down in Crestview in his hometown. And this baseball complex had a diamond out back, and then they had a training facility inside with weights and all that. And in that, they had a virtual batting cage. And it was kind of cool, though. What this virtual batting cage was there was a addition of plate and a batter's box, obviously. And in front of you, it's 60 feet, 6 inches, where the mound goes, they had a screen. And on this screen, they projected a pitcher. And the pitcher would go through his windup, and when he would release the ball, there was a hole in the screen, and the pitching machine was behind it. And they could program the pitching machine to throw you any pitch, fastball, heater, slider, changeup, curve, sinker, screwball, whatever you wanted it to throw. And so you could stand in there and watch. You could take BP and watch a pitcher actually throw you the pitch so that you could get an idea of how to read the pitch, to get a read on what the seams are doing, the movement of the ball, tracking where the ball is in flight to learn how to hit different pitches. It's really cool. So Blake Dean invited me to come out and check out his new complex, and I did. And he says, "Do you want to take a couple of swings in the batting cage?" And I said, yes, of course I do, because I like embarrassing myself in public. So he says, all right, man, here's what I'm going to do. I'll give you a couple of nice and easy 65-mile-an-hour change-ups down the middle so that you can get your timing and your rhythm down. And I said, great. And he said, and then we'll crank it up into the 70s and maybe the 80s and let you see that. And I said, great. Blake Dean, being the hilarious, sarcastically, person that he is, Lonzo, decided on the first pitch to throw me an inside heater at 101 miles per hour. Lonzo, you may have felt what you considered the fear of death at some point in your life. You have never had the actual tar scared out of you until a 101 mile an hour fastball runs in on your hands and goes by so quickly that you can hear the baseball as it passes by your external body parts. It is terrifying. I was never meant to be a professional baseball player. I have seen one up close. If I am a AAA ball player and I know this dude's coming at me at 102 with inside heat, I'm all right. I'm all right because I know what's happening. I'm going to be embarrassed.
This is probably the reason why you are not playing baseball. Those guys out there, those kids out there, or whatever stage of life they're in, they still, in their heart, in their minds, want to make it to the show. They're not afraid. They're swinging at that thing.
Have at, boys. Have at. You know, we were talking earlier about if given the opportunity, would you drive an F1 car that goes 220? If given the opportunity, would you take a shot at it? And my answer was not just yes, but hell yes. I would in a heartbeat. I don't know why a 202 mile an hour straight in an F1 or an Indy car is a dream of mine. A 102 mile an hour fastball up and in on the hands is a nightmare. A physical, literal, come to real life nightmare. But good on them for trying. The old collegiate effort. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN, Texas at 71307. Texter says, used to listen to you when I was stationed at Eglin Air Force Base, lived right in front of Captain Dave's on Scenic 98, love Destin and miss it. Keep up the good work, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much, Texter. That is fantastic. It is great to hear from another 850er up here in the 864. Zoe, look at that. I got a transplant listener from my old days back up here in the new days. That's pretty rad.
That is awesome. And it's a quality program, so continue to listen. You're going to love it.
Well, thanks, listener. Appreciate that. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, NASCAR is looking like it is going to be fun this weekend. A course that has never been run before. And, boys, we're turning left and right. Tell you about that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
The Rob.
Oh, just the boys are throwing daggers right now. There's the shirt, Lonzo, that Bryson's rocking on the course yesterday.
Nice.
Kinda love it. Just bringing the troll level to 1,000. You gotta have the right head shape to pull off the Kangol hat. You gotta have like Sam Jackson pulls it off, Bryson pulls it off. If I can find the right one, I've been known to wear them in the past, Keegan. I used to have them, but I don't do it as much anymore. I still have one that I don't think I've worn since I've been here, actually. Like Zoe and I think, have a hard time rocking the Kangol because they don't sit well on top of enlarged melons, and it's tough to pull that off. Yeah, Bruce Arian rocks one. Bruce Arian, I don't know. I can see a little Bruce Arians in Lonzo. Maybe Lonzo could rock a Kangol hat. So I'm gonna get you a black Kangol hat with the ESPN logo.
See, that to me is a cabbie hat, and the Kangol is what LL Cool J used to wear back in the day.
Yeah, he just wore a cabbie hat backwards. It's the same thing.
No, that's a beret. A cabbie hat backwards is a beret.
It is not. A beret is a completely different hat.
The cabbie hat backwards is a beret.
A beret is a completely different hat. It's not even close.
By the way, I've worn a beret. I have pictures I can show you. I was a mime 2 years ago.
Wait, what now?
I was a mime 2 years ago.
Shit, for real?
Yeah, for the Star Awards.
This is a beret.
I know what a beret is.
It's not a Kangol.
You turn a cabbie hat backwards and you're walking straight towards someone, it looks like a beret.
No.
That's a Kangol. Yeah, that's not what he's wearing. He's wearing
this style of hat. Kangols are just like a
no.
Take.
This is a
hat. This is a cabbie hat. See that right there? That is a Kangol, and it's the exact hat we're talking about.
Is it? Because it doesn't look like that to me. Well,
yes.
All right.
See, he's just got his pulled up in the front, but that's a cabbie hat, a Kangol hat.
Yeah, you said it right the first time. Coming back.
Call it whatever you want to call it.
Rob Brown Lockdown on Twitter. Tweet at The Rob Brown Show on the Upstate Sports Leader, ESPN Upstate.
At ESPN, kind of hard to get hit in the rocks when they were in your stomach after the first pitch. Yeah, that's correct. A 101 heater when you are not prepared for it will threaten your anatomy a little bit. You're not incorrect, Texter. Ingles Market text line's open at 71307. 71307 is the number. NASCAR, going to be fun this weekend. If you are not a NASCAR fan, if you think you might want to get into the sport, this will be a great one to watch as they hit the Circuit of the Americas for the very first time. This is going to be interesting. Over the course of this race, Lonzo, these drivers will have to turn the race car 1,360 times. That's a lot of times. They are at the Circuit of the Americas. The Cup race at the paved road course in Austin is this Sunday at 2:30. 231 miles, 68 laps. Stages ending on laps 15:32 and 68. There will be a 50-minute practice session tomorrow if you want to watch. It is going to be interesting. AJ Allmendinger, a road course ringer, will run both the Xfinity and Cup Series races and said, quote, "You are literally just climbing a hill, staring at the sky." He is talking about a 133-foot-long incline that has an immediate sharp left-hand turn at the top. Allmendinger said, quote, "It's a hairpin first gear corner, so I think you're going to see some lunges. I think probably to start the race, everybody, I hope, will be a little bit calm. But I promise you, late race restarts, people are going to be sending it. End quote. Austin Dillon predicted that there will be multiple times when the outside lane will have to check up because a driver will miss turn 1 coming off the incline, and he may very well push other drivers out off of the course. Dillon said having a balance for all that is going on, it's going to be tough. You're going to see guys that really excel in certain corners and struggle in others, end quote. There is also a chance of storms in the forecast all weekend, which adds another challenge for teams, especially if rain hits one day and not another, to leave crew chiefs unable to effectively gauge their race strategy. If it rains on Saturday and practice is run and is sunny on Sunday, it will be a completely different gear setup they have to run through. If it rains on Sunday but is dry for practice on Saturday, same situation in reverse. It will be very interesting because they will strap on the wet weather tires in order to race in the rain if it needs to happen. Dave Rogers, the number 18 Xfinity Series crew chief, said, quote, "This is just as unique as a dirt race at Bristol." Another crew chief said, quote, "There's so many things that you've got to keep track of at this track, and none of us have been there to do it, so we're just guessing at some of that." Zoe, man, look, I know you've been known to check in, and and watch a little NASCAR here and there. I think you told me you checked out some of the race at Bristol on dirt. If I was to give you one more track this year that I would say you're a casual fan and this may get you into it, or at least give you a really, really entertaining race to enjoy, it is this Sunday at the track down in Austin, because it is going to be, Lonzo, pure, unbridled chaos, and I cannot wait. My Sunday is blocked off for this NASCAR race in the PGA Championship, and I'm pretty sure the NASCAR race is going up on the big screen, though. It's going to be that good.
It's going up against the NBA, though, right?
I don't have the schedule in front of me, so I don't know, actually.
I do believe the Lakers play Sunday, but I don't know what time. So
I'll have to check.
That will be my excuse if I don't check it. It's because I'm watching the NBA.
Yeah, but you have multiple screens in your house.
I do.
So
you're right.
Make one of them NASCAR. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I don't do this often, right? I tell people, watch what you want to watch, enjoy what you want to enjoy. I'm not here to judge. Lonzo, you will enjoy the race on Sunday. You will enjoy the race on Sunday. You are sending a bunch of teams blind into a track they have never raced before, where weather will impact them, with hairpin turns in both directions, in cars that are very much not made to do that, with drivers who very much do not know this track at all, because the majority of them have never stepped foot on it, forget spun laps at it. They will basically get 2 rounds of practice to learn this course that is unlike any road courses that they have ever seen before. It is going to be really, really interesting, Lonzo. Again, I don't tell you this is must watch, put it on the homework assignment for the great one this weekend. But if I have the authority to tell you that there's a homework assignment, watch an hour of this race, though, and then tell me you weren't willing to stick around and watch the end of it. I'm calling that shot now.
I cannot guarantee without a shadow of doubt that I will do said hour, but I will attempt it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's take a break. When we come back, we do Twitter trending topics. We tell you what's trending on Twitter. I tell you what I know about it, and if I don't know anything about it, I make it up. That's next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Update.
QC Kinetics.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
Don't go through another summer with that nagging joint pain. Live the life you deserve. With help from QC
Never mind, it was
Now
recorded.
is the time to call QC Kinetics. Learn how regenerative cell therapies give you
That sucks for you, I'm
just
sorry.
in time for summer fun. Regenerative cell options are natural biologics, restoring damaged tissue in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders. It's non-invasive.
All right, I've sent you one more mime picture, and now I'm done.
Tomorrow afternoon at 12:30, when you're home for the best games in the MLB, ESPN Upstate.
With protection for your person and vulnerability, your Progressive policy works the way it's supposed to, unlike this indecisive sports talk host.
All right, welcome to the Big Shark Show. Well, if you ask me, they are definitely going to win big.
You can
I don't think there's a chance they don't win. It's just my gut that they will.
No, not right now. Hey, Courtney says hello, Lonzo.
Tell her I say hello back.
She literally stopped by just to pee. Hey, everybody, this is Courtney. She's real. She's a real person that exists in real life. I wasn't just making it up.
I'm sure she really appreciates you telling everyone why she stopped by.
I don't think she cares. Do you care? I don't think you care. Yeah, that I told everybody you came in not to say hello to me, but just to use my bathroom.
Yeah, it's a little late now. You done told everybody, so you know. So I've given you 3 pictures that prove that I was. Yeah.
Joe has shared with me pictures of him dressed as a mime. That is inaccurate.
Yeah, she was there. She saw it.
Oh, you saw it in person? Lonzo, you look less like a mime and more like a cross between Sting and the Crow.
Thank you, but I was going for a cross between Sting and a Joker thug.
Okay, yeah, that seems.
I wanted to be mimey and intimidating all at the same time. So, yes, so I could stare at a certain talk show host the entire time and make him feel uncomfortable.
Can we share this picture on the stream?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care. I got it off of Facebook.
Courtney wants to know what the theme is this year.
They haven't announced the theme yet.
They haven't announced it yet. Oh, this is the that thing that we've been.
Star Wars, yes. That's where Chris was also a mime, and our plan was that's Hawk from Hawk and Tom, by the way, from our sister station. Chris and I, our goal was to sit on either side of our general manager, Steve Sinacrapi, and we were able to do that just to make him feel uncomfortable.
Well, the picture makes me uncomfortable, so I'm sure it worked out just fine.
Yeah, but everyone loved us, so that's how that worked. And we had a goal to go the entire night without speaking, and we both did it.
Since like not a word.
Not a word.
That's really impressive.
Until we got back in the car.
Stackus, look at Stacks coming in here. Lonzo's half promise to watch NASCAR and my pillow talk are the exact same thing. I will not promise to do it for 1 hour, but I will attempt it. That's amazing. Oh, that's funny.
By the way, Chris was actually able to order a drink without talking.
Well, I mean, like, were you guys writing stuff down, or was it like?
No, he somehow was able to sign it out for them. If you look real close at the picture, I put our name. I got about name tags and put our names on it so we could prove who we were, so we wouldn't have to talk. And then we showed him our license.
Really?
Yes.
That's hilarious, actually. Really funny. I respect that commitment to the character.
It is time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet, and he tells everyone what he knows about it. And we were having a wonderful conversation about mimes and Kangles earlier, and how I can, yeah, which is why you should check out the stream where I prove that I can actually rock a beret.
For it.
All right, so the first thing, I don't have a lot, but the first thing might go a ways. Monica Lewinsky is trending.
Monica Lewinsky is trending. Monica Lewinsky is trending on Twitter. No idea why.
All right, she tweets out an answer to a Twitter question. And the Twitter question was, what's the most high risk, low reward thing you've ever done?
I think I know the answer to that for Monica Lewinsky. It's a stab in the dark, which, never mind. That's a joke I can't make on air.
No.
Yeah, I think I know what that is. Shit, that may be the best answer that anyone in America can give, honestly.
Well, I didn't look to see what her answer was because I don't need to know. I mean,
you already know.
Yeah. I didn't want to read the details, but the fact that she answered the question in a tweet. I mean, it was one of those general tweets that people throw out there and a bunch of people respond to, like the one that I shared with you earlier, and didn't write it down because I'm a dummy. The which movie would you watch thing?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. So Monica Lewinsky still, she's got a sense of humor. I mean, there's that. If you're famous for something, which she is, and she still has a sense of humor. All right, the next thing trending is MODOK.
MODOK, I'm in for it. MODOK is a show that's going to be on HBO, I believe. MODOK is
I believe it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, okay, HBO Max. MODOK is a villain character from the Marvel Universe. It's basically a giant floating head inside with tiny arms and legs inside of a big. It's really hard to describe without people going, "What's wrong with you?" But was also a character that was able to compete with Tony Stark in terms of intelligence and strategy and tactics and all that. Well, they have created a comedy series based around MODOK called MODOK. And Patton Oswalt is one of the creative drivers behind it. He is also the voice of MODOK. And I'm 100% in because it seems to me like it's going to be kind of an adult animated cartoon version of the Marvel Universe where it's just sarcastic and snarky and surreal. And look, I love Patton Oswalt. The dude to me is absolutely hilarious. Some of his best work has been in just kind of cameos where he's been able to just cut loose and go nuts. He had a great cameo in Parks and Rec one time that's absolutely hilarious. This is going to be the first non-movie Marvel property. There's been some good ones, but probably the first one in a while that I'm like, yeah, I may very well have to start paying for HBO Max for this.
Well, there's WandaVision was good, and that was Disney. Okay, all right. So the next thing trending is Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
That thing is getting love everywhere. It's been sponsored by everything. I'm growing more interested, right? Like I'm growing more interested because I think they've kind of gotten away from, at first it looked like it was going to be a zombie movie, right? We're classic, but it looks like it's going to kind of be a
heist,
zombie action adventure heist movie.
Yeah, it's a heist movie.
Yeah, like take Ocean's 11 but put zombies in it, and I'm here for it.
Well, when you have zombie Elvis and zombie tigers, that's interesting. One of the reasons why it's trending is because it comes out on Netflix today.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's out right now. It's also 2.5 hours long. I want to let you know. I looked up runtime.
As we've talked about,
Starring Dave Bautista, by the way.
Yes, the great Dave Bautista, the animal. I don't care how long an entertainment property is, provided the entertainment property is good. from start to finish. My issue, for instance, with the Snyder Cut was never that it was 19 hours long. I didn't care about that. Just, is it going to be good to where it holds my attention the entire time? And if they do that and they can pull that off, then I'm totally fine with it. So a 2.5-hour zombie movie is great. I'm fine with it as long as it's actually entertaining with the zombies from start to finish.
Well, it's another movie that's causing a problem in Hollywood where people are opting to watch it at home rather than go to the theater and see it.
Yeah, that's going to be normalized though, right? Like I hope that
next year, but I think for the rest of this year, you're going to.
I think moving forward, you're going to see movies be released.
You think so?
Yeah, I think streaming services are going to start releasing blockbusters. Because here's the thing, man. Like, I love going to the movies, right? Like, it's an experience for me. I love going to the movies. But bro, when tickets are $19 and popcorn costs the same and sodas cost the same. The last time we went to the movies, the lady friend and I went to the movies to see Godzilla and Kong a few months back. And I want to spend, we spent like $50, $60 to see it once we had bought the snacks and the tickets and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna hurt the movie studios and it's really gonna hurt the theaters. But at the same time, they're going to get more eyeballs on the movies if they make it an option for theater, or like there are some movies that are only gonna be like Godzilla v Kong. That's a movie you have to see on the big screen, right? Like, it's not going to do the same on a TV.
But I didn't. It's one that I weighed the costs literally and realized that I'm already paying for the service. It's already here. I'm just going to watch it at home. Sure. For all the reasons that you just discussed, plus no bathroom lines, and plus I could pause the movie if I have to go to the bathroom.
It is a big pro. As the world's tallest man with the smallest bladder, that's a huge pro. I'm not mad about that. But I just think that the success of having these movies drop on HBO and Netflix and in theaters. I mean, look, Godzilla v Kong still did really well at the box office for being missed of the pandemic. I think it's going to be normalized to start seeing movies dropped both at home and in theaters at the same time, instead of that traditional 9-month waiting period where if you miss a 3-month run in theaters, you don't get to see it until the next year. I think that's going away.
The true test will be the movies that they considered would be a blockbuster. Will they still do the kind of money that they think it will do, like Black Widow, which is coming up pretty soon. All right, the last thing I have trending is Tim Tebow jerseys.
Tim Tebow jerseys are in stock now. Pictures are beginning to circulate on the interwebs. They're going for like $120 a pop for the authentic jerseys. Look, I told y'all from day one when this conversation came out, I fully and thoroughly believe that Tim Tebow will sell as many jerseys as Trevor Lawrence, or at least get very close to it, which is nuts, right? I mean, we're talking about a first overall QB pick and the 4th string tight end who at 33 who hasn't been in the league. But Tim Tebow's from Jacksonville, and I cannot tell you the level of love and passion they have for that young man down there in Duval. So when Tim Tebow's jerseys numbers come in, they're going to be through the roof. The first batch will sell out by the end of next week, I guarantee you, which is why I am betting. We read you the Vegas odds earlier. Tim Tebow, depending on what site you go, it predicted to get anywhere from 12 to 85 receiving yards over under, either 1 or 2 passing touchdowns over under, and receiving touchdowns is set at 1 or 2 over under. I'm betting the over on everything. I'm betting the over on everything because Jacksonville knows if Tebow is even occasionally getting his name in the paper, it's a sensation. It sells them tickets and merch, and it keeps the shine off Trevor Lawrence for a minute. This kid is going to, whether he does well or not, is going to be a mainstay on all the NFL advertising moving forward. Just watch. There you have it. That's the show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Mark, Ryan, and Diesel are up next for Offsides for Lonzo. My name is Rob Brown. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week right back here on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Later.